Welcome into the Week 9 edition of Taking Sides. I'm your host, Al Walsh. Follow me on Twitter at 14a.walsh. And as always, joined alongside by Pauly Parlays. Find him over at Game Day Facts over there on Twitter. Follow the show as well at taking_sides. And that's all the social media outlets that you can. I'm also on that handle on Instagram. I think that's the only other thing. I don't really do TikTok. Are you a TikToker?
I'm not. I know that my sub for the last 2 weeks. I love that you said always. Where after I've been I've been out for 2 weeks. But I know Anthony is getting into TikTok a lot.
Yeah,
I love it. How's life, my friend? I feel like we haven't done this in a while because we haven't done this in a while.
God, I know we're doing the football podcast today, but the Phillies. This is my playoff ensemble. The black hoodie and then the jersey on top. Now, I went with a little bit of lucky Irish green here today, so hopefully that helps us out. Did not work out so well last night. I actually got Phillies money line tonight, plus about, I think, 125. They're looking at that with the closing number, but a lot of bets were on Houston today, a lot of money on Philly. Kind of like it. Syndergaard don't necessarily need the guy to go 5 innings, right? Like he started.
I didn't realize it's Syndergaard. I love it.
He started against Atlanta in one of the games, went 3 innings, looked really good, and then they turned it over to the bullpen, and everything seemed to work out all right. So, gonna be fun. Man, that series has been absolutely wild. Getting no hit, or actually going from the one extreme of hitting 5 home runs in 5 innings to getting no hit in a World Series game is just absolutely bananas. But I wouldn't expect anything different from the Phillies this season.
And I think you know this, that I have a futures bet on the Phillies as well as the Astros.
You do?
So I'm good either way, but I'm rooting for the Phillies for you.
A lot of people, too, over at Caesars are pulling for the Phillies because Mattress Mac
my God, yeah.
a portion of his money there at Caesars. There's some pretty cool videos out there online if you want to check them out. Did guy on my team, JMO, did some stuff there, Kenny Mayne and Mattress Mac there. Good stuff over there. But this is the NFL show, so we got to get into these picks, and I got to get off the air by like 7:55 because it's World Series time, baby.
Come on, we got this. This is easy. We'll whip out some winners real quick.
Yeah, all right. Let's get into it. All right, Eagles-Texans, right? The Thursday night game, which we got going off here in about an hour. Eagles 14-point favorites in this one, total 45. Got a particular side that you like here because the public and all the money certainly loves Philadelphia.
Yeah, I'm a square here. I'm on the Eagles. I have a bet in at them minus 13.5. The Texans don't have very much going on here. The whole Brandon Cooks practices Monday, then doesn't practice Tuesday and Wednesday, thinks he's getting traded, doesn't get traded, and now isn't playing for personal reasons. So yeah. Davis Mills is going to be throwing the ball to a bunch of practice squad guys. The Eagles are fully prepared for this. The Eagles are going to win the game. It's a question of, do they run away with it? I think the answer to that question is yes. So I am on the Eagles minus 13.5. How about you?
Yeah, I think that's the side you got to go. You mentioned the Eagles' pass defense is already, tops in the NFL. So now we're going to be putting a Texans team led by Davis Mills as you throw in the orange parking cones tonight.
Me and you. He's throwing us.
Little OJ Howard action for the people. I have no idea about the injury reports this week. I should probably know that stuff.
Lots of Dameon Pierce tonight.
That's right. Yes. My work league would definitely appreciate that. But yeah, listen, again, not going to spend too much time on this one since game's happening tonight. Know a lot of you might listen to this show on Thursday or on Friday or Saturday, so won't matter. But yeah, I had like a free bets tonight. So I did some stuff with like Eagles points brought down a little bit. FanDuel hooking it up with the free bets.
I considered the Eagles as a teaser leg, but it kept going to 7, and I don't want if they win by 7, it's a tie. So at that point, I was just like, you know what, 13.5. Let's go for it.
Yeah. All right. Let's get the Sunday slate. It's the you like that bowl. The Vikings at the Commanders, formerly known as the Redskins. Vikings 3-point favorites in this one with the total at 43.5. looking at the betting landscape here, about 60% of the bets on the Commanders with an overwhelming 85% of the money going there as well. However, you look at the money line, about 75% of the bets and the money are on the Vikings in this one. Man, Commanders have looked all right here. They did get 2 wins, one against the Packers, one at the Colts last week, although, Colts should have won that one there. What are you doing here with the Vikings and the Commanders?
So this is one of those, like, I think I like the Vikings -3.5. I've been on the Vikings for a while now. I put a Super Bowl future on the Vikings over the past couple weeks while I haven't been on the show.
Very nice.
I don't know if it's very nice. The odds just didn't add up where they're the likely 2 seed in the NFC. So I get it. Like, oh, everybody loves the Eagles. Everybody's talking about the Cowboys. The team that no one's talking about is the Vikings here, where if they just keep winning and if they end up the 2 seed, you never know what's going to happen. We could see the NFC Championship game in Minnesota. Like, any of this could happen. So I saw them at 15-1, which just didn't line up with any other top 2 seed. So I put a little down on them. I think they keep it going this week. So I'm on the Vikings and Kirk Cousins -3.5.
It's a 1:00 game, so that's always good.
He's great then.
Yeah,
that's the only time he's good.
It's always good for the Vikings and the boys there. I'll probably roll with you. Although Vikings money line has dropped a little bit here, 185 down to -165. A little troubling. However, I believe that we can sneak away here with the 3-point victory. My rule of 3. It's usually a good thing. Commanders, they're a good team, but
are they good? Like, that's what I can't figure out. Like Taylor Heineke is garbage. He just keeps winning games somehow.
Yeah, I should update my definition of good. But
if you're winning games, you're good. So
they're a serviceable bunch, right?
They're serviceable, yeah.
Speaking of serviceable, Cincinnati Bengals they look broke down on Monday night there in Cleveland. However, they're hosting the Panthers this week. Bengals 7.5 point favorites there, depending on where you shop. We'll call the total 43 this week. Only big thing sticking out here, it's a big one. On the money line, you got 90% of the bets coming in on the Bengals. However, the money likes a cat of a different breed. Panthers taking about 87% of the money on the money line in this one, interestingly enough. What are you doing here with the Panthers at Bengals?
I'm counting how many 1:00 games there are. There are 8 games in the 1:00 slate. And this is the one that I have, if I was ranking them 1 through 8 of like best bet to least best bet, this is my least best bet, where like I have the Bengals -7. Is the number still 7 or has it moved?
You got a couple 7.5s out there.
So I have the Bengals -7, but I don't know, like without Jamar Chase, Burrow and the whole offense is different. And I loved how everyone was like, oh, they'll be fine. T. Higgins will just step up and Boyd will just step up. They don't realize how important a player like Jamar Chase is. He's what's creating those 2 guys getting open and everything like that. But I don't know. I don't trust PJ Walker and the Panthers. I think that it was one of those, like, the game last week was that the Panthers and the Falcons was for first place in that division. Blows my mind because neither of them are good teams. I think the Bengals are just the better team here. So I'll take the Bengals -7.
Fair enough. Hey, listen, PJ Walker is a Brady slayer. I mean, everybody's been a Brady slayer this year, but that was quite shocking. It showed he could get it done.
Do you like that the last 2 games that we've talked about have XFL great Taylor Heineke and XFL great PJ Walker? But that's what's so great about that league. And like what I think the new XFL will be, neither of these guys would be here if it wasn't for that league that was in existence for no time.
Although I'm a little distraught, New Jersey no longer has a franchise in the XFL.
I saw the new announcements. Yep, we are out.
I think they moved. I forget who they moved. There's an Orlando. Well, Tampa moved to Orlando, and then they. I don't. Vegas. Vegas got a team.
Good for Vegas. Makes sense.
Yeah, that should be fun. Little gambling on some XFL. Don't threaten me with a good time, Pauly. All right. Battle of New York. Bills, Jets, Bills.
Battle of New York.
11.5-point favorites. They actually opened at 13.5. So interesting to see this number keep coming down. Also, the total opened there at 47.5. We've seen it drop down to 46 now. Money line for the Bills dropped to 625 down to 575. Jets plus 490 down to plus 460. Interesting to note on that one. Only thing from the markets I'm seeing, nearly all the money going towards the under. And I think 46.5 is actually the best number right now that you can do there. So that will be that. I gotta tell you, man, I really like the Bills a lot, but this is making me a little nervous seeing everything come down for the Bills now.
So I thought the same way. I had Bills minus 13. Then you said Bills minus 11.5. I'm like, okay, I like it even more, but that just means that I'm not supposed to like it more.
Right.
It's tricky. Like at this point, I'll use the Bills as a teaser leg all the time. Get me under 7, easy.
Yeah. Plus, I can't be betting against the Bills 2 weeks in a row. Had the Packers last week as one of my underdog plays there. So,
but I like the Bills at 13. Why? Tell me. Oh, I know why the number went down. Jordan Poyer and Matt Milano might both be out. So those were bad injury reports, but I don't think it matters. Honestly, I think the Bills are, they're the class of the NFL playing against Zach Wilson, who's trying to prove that he belongs in the NFL. So for me, I'm still on the Bills, and I love that it's moving closer and closer to 10.
Yeah, I'm down with that. All right, let's go to New England. Colts at the Patriots. Patriots 5.5-point favorites here, total at 40. Nothing really too interesting from the total aspect of this. However, bets about 50-50. 70% of the money is on the Colts this week. So I know you like the Colts. I like the Colts. The money likes the Colts. Let's go, Colts.
Colts. Plus 5.5.
A lot of Colts this week.
Okay, so here's what I think is going to happen because of like the way the world is.
I hate the world.
Either the Colts or the Pats. Someone is going to be up 28-3 just so they can talk about the fact that Matt Ryan got benched, that he's no longer the quarterback, and he was part of the 28-3 thing. Like, that's totally going to happen.
It's got to be
the question is, which team goes up 28-3? I think that the Colts have a bit more firepower than the Patriots do. I mean, Mac Jones has not looked good, but on the other hand, Jacoby Myers looks great, and Ramondre Stevenson looks great. Like, those guys look like players. I just don't know if Mac is anything more than a game manager. And I think that this is the kind of game where we might find that out. But on the other side, you have Sam Ehlinger, who, they're going to let him try to be the quarterback for good reason because, Matt Ryan wasn't working. And I think that they've essentially like waved the white flag and are saying we're giving up on the season because they have Nick Foles. Nick Foles can win them games. I almost feel like they're punting to try to get a pick in the upcoming draft because there's a lot of really quality quarterbacks. But all in the same breath here, talking in circles, I think if the Patriots win, they win like 20-17. So the Colts are still going to cover with the plus 5.5.
I dig that aspect to it. Jonathan Taylor is on the injury report, didn't practice today. So that could be something. And don't forget, too, the Colts, they traded Nyheim Hines over to Buffalo. So nice little piece of depth there for them. Just trying to get a little more data here. Where are we looking? Yeah. So Taylor aggravating the ankle injury. So that's certainly something to look out for here. Patriots got a little bang up too. Damian Harris, we're non-participants.
Yeah, but he doesn't matter. Just let Ramondre eat.
Devin McCourty, although they should both play on Sunday, is what they say. So Fair enough. I listen. I still like the Colts, even with the hobbled Jonathan Taylor. They got enough guys to get it done. At least keep it close, baby. Good, great, grand, wonderful. Everybody on the bus. We're going to Jacksonville, where the Raiders are 1.5-point favorites in this one. Total sitting at 47.5. Money line's right about the same. However, we're seeing Jaguars 76% of the bets, Raiders 65% of the money. Slightly more money here on the Raiders, even with the spread too. All right, interesting. We got the West Coast team coming east for the 1:00 game. I think I like the over as my favorite play here. What say you?
I always promise you at least one home dog, and this is it. I'm taking the Jags as a home dog against the Raiders. But I've been on the Raiders all season. But once we hit the halfway point, all season ends.
Oh, so they're
I usually give them 8 games. Whatever I feel before the season, I let it go and I trust it for between the first 6 and 8 weeks. Once we get to week 8, we now know what these teams are. So we are in week 9. We know that the Raiders are not good. I'm not saying the Jaguars are any good, but the Raiders traveling east to play the Jaguars, who seem to be moving in the right direction. I'm hoping that we get a serviceable Jaguars team that pulls out the win on Sunday.
Jacksonville also played the London game last week, so possibly a little bit of a jet lag.
But we've seen that really isn't affecting teams. We thought it would, but the data shows that it's the same.
Hey, my data says just wait. All right,
Fine.
Just wait. We're getting a little deeper into the season. The legs are getting a little more tired. These people, despite what you think, are not machines, Paul. They are human beings. Okay.
Fine.
Good.
I trust you.
Can you hear a dog like yelping in the background?
I just heard something for half a second right before you asked.
That's not my good boy George. That is the upstairs dogs, and they have been an absolute pain in my ass about the last 2 weeks. Even caught the guy using my backyard.
If I ever complain about anything upstairs, it means that there is a raccoon in my attic.
Oh no!
We don't want that.
I got a raccoon story, but we'll tell it for another day.
I mean, come on, just tell the quick version. You can't not tell it at this point.
I was having a double date barbecue at my old house, and a raccoon just came right along the top of the fence, stared at us for about a minute, what felt like 60 minutes, and then just ran away. We all just stood there frozen, like
right, because you're scared of it, but it's really just scared of you.
And I had George, and he was like a puppy at the time. So, like, that raccoon could have just dragged him off. Like,
well, no, you're lucky that if George just reacted to the raccoon, you could have had a problem. The fact that he stayed and did nothing is why the raccoon left.
Well, I got him on the leash real quick, and I was like, you can't, we are not having animal wars out here.
This is a real thing. Why is the raccoon not a mascot of teams? Because I feel like a raccoon is feisty.
Probably I'm sure we can find some minor league teams with raccoons.
You know what I'm saying? Wait, you say raccoon and I say raccoon. What's right?
No, it's raccoon. I just go.
Oh, you say it wrong on purpose.
Right.
Got it.
It sounds cool.
We have to enunciate the correct syllables.
Listen, you're right on this one, but I go with my own. I say roof like an old man too.
Oh, it's like the old Baby Ruth commercial with the dog. Roof,
Fiddler on the roof.
Nice. We should go see that just so you could ask everyone, excuse me, is this Fiddler on the Roof?
And then I'll come back and I'll ask all my friends.
Actually, we should start a golf podcast called Fiddler on the Rough.
Ooh, I like that.
That's good. Well, look at the dumb stuff that we come up with by mistake on this show. Love it.
I'm not going to have very many good bets, but we'll have a good time. I suck at betting.
What I've found is that most people, they tune into the show for this more than the picks. We want to entertain them for a good half hour, good hour, And if they get the picks, that's just a plus.
Right.
That's what I've heard. I don't know. I don't know
So,
why anyone would want to hang out with us for an hour, though.
speaking of which, so I updated my season record. So 35-15 on all spread, money line, and total picks.
That's
And
great.
it is a profit of $1,617.72, which I'm sure the greedy government is going to come and try to get their hands all over. Back off me, IRS. I got a World Series to win.
I sure hope so, because then my account will look very nice.
Oh, okay. Dolphins at Bears. Dolphins are 4-point favorites. The total is 45. Not a lot going on with the betting markets here. We're seeing a lot of even. Actually, a lot of people like the over here. 80% of the bets, 75% of the money on the over.
Do you want to know why?
Well, Justin Fields looks
No.
like a maniac.
No. It's there was a weather report that got circulated. You see you see it at 45.5, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
It opened at 48. Then there was a weather report that said that it was going to be very, 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 very bad weather in Chicago, which has since changed, but the number remains at 45.5. That is why everyone's on the over, where now it's just going to be rain versus like a tornado, torrential downpour, 25-mile-an-hour winds.
Gotcha.
That is why I have a star next to this game. It is my best bet of the week, weather pending. I love the Dolphins in every way, but if the weather is horrible, I'm not going to bet it.
Okay.
If the weather is at any bit reasonable, I love the Dolphins. If the weather is really bad, it screams this is a game the Bears can win, even though they shouldn't.
Wow, we're going to have a pretty good weather weekend. Nice. Weather will not play a big factor in a lot of the game, in any of the games this weekend.
That's good, but that's the reason for all the over bets is because the number moved, so then people started betting it, and it hasn't moved back up. But I think that the reasoning for that is the sports books don't want to get middled, where they're just going to leave it because the 48 was only there for a day.
Gotcha. All right. Good to know. I don't particularly have a side on this one. It's interesting. Miami did open at 5, 5.5. I even saw, so to go down to 4 is pretty significant dip there. We talked about it with an earlier game. I could certainly see a Dolphins 3-point victory. Dolphins just squeaked out a cover last week at Detroit. Listen, Chicago is playing a lot better football. Obviously, they had the great performance there against New England on Monday night. Put up a lot of points against a very good Dallas defense. And I like that the weather report there from Pauly Precipitation over there.
That's funny. What is it? Oh, so this like is Pauly just one of those names that everybody just like throws something else at the end and that's what it becomes? Yeah. Because this happens to me at work also, where like I'm like Pauly words and Pauly this and Pauly that, and I'm just like words. And I words with a Z also, which is very funny.
Yeah, no,
and you just Pauly Precipitation like.
Johnny Hotcakes. That's another Johnny Rockets. I think
it's because of like the Italian mafia thing, like Pauly Walnuts.
Yeah.
When I used to play a lot of poker back when I was back in the day, back when I was younger, one of my friends called me Pauly Moneybags.
All right.
So these are, but it's all the same. It's just Pauly with a word at the end. So there was a point where I was going to be a weatherman when in my broadcast journalism life. My name should have been Pauly Precipitation.
There's a joke that goes around in hockey circles that you're like the coach just calls you by your last name and adds either an ER or a Y at the end of it.
Yes.
Hey, Walsher. Hey, Walshay.
Yep.
And then we're not allowed to say yours because.
What do you mean? You just say parlayers.
Parlayer. Awful. All right. Green Bay at the Detroit Lions. Well, Green Bay Packers at Detroit Lions. Packers 3.5-point favorites in this one with the total at 50. Big news during the week. Packers don't make a trade. Lions trade TJ Hawkinson. Hawkinson to go along with Justin Jefferson now. Pretty interesting. Completely forgot to mention that in the Vikings blurb. Sue me. I don't really give a shit. But despite not having TJ Hawkinson, I think that, we saw, that we got back on the train with Detroit overs, right? Like this is a really crappy defense. And, you're going to be able to run, pass the ball on them with relative ease. So I think, Rodgers and boys going to have a big day. I think Detroit can come back with some garbage time stuff. So I do like the over of, I do see a 49.5 on the screen. I'll take it.
What the trade deadline said for me is Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to beast down the stretch.
That's right.
Who else is Goff going to throw the ball to? That's what we're going to find out this week. Like we're going to find a lot about Jared Goff. I think he's an NFL quarterback. He's a good player. He's not a game changer, but this offense seems to work. They keep losing games, but the offense at least seems to work. You have the Packers on like a half short week because they played on Sunday night. The Packers did nothing. Like I think that they might have waved the white flag. I've now used that analogy twice in 25 minutes. Whoops. But you don't make a deal. They realize like this is going to be Aaron Rodgers' last year. I think that's why they didn't make any deals, because they said if our defense isn't good enough, we can't win anyway. So let's just play out the string. And if that's the case, I really, really hope the Lions play like the Lions we knew down the stretch last year, where they might not win the game, but they'll at least cover with the +3.5.
I hope it's not Aaron Rodgers last year. He just signed that 4-year contract.
He's going to retire after this year.
Yeah, he might.
It's going to happen. It's not going to matter.
Y'all ain't doing shit for him.
And then maybe my Jordan Love. So when Jordan Love got drafted, I that was in the midst of COVID, where I started collecting cards again. Ooh. And one of the players that I thought was super cheap was Jordan Love. So I invested in a bunch of Jordan Love. I got a lot of Tuas, and I got a bunch of Justin Jeffersons. So Jeffersons, those are great. Tuas were doing great. Then he got hurt. Now they're back in the middle. And Jordan Loves have just remained nothing. So maybe those cards will finally be worth something soon.
Sorry, trying to make my plans here for this evening.
So from what we spoke about a half hour ago, I think you like the Packers.
Yes, I do like
Yes, I think that is correct.
Yeah, the only take a side that we're going to have this week.
Which is crazy. There's no way that we like all 15 games the same.
No, that's not. No, this is going to be a very low volume week for myself, right? Like there's only a couple games that I really like this week. More the totals in some of these games I really like, but in the 4:00 and then Sunday night, I got some stuff that I like there, so I'll probably be going that route. But yeah, 1:00. I don't think I'm going to be doing a whole lot. Colts.
Yeah,
Colts over in the Las Vegas game. Probably Miami, Chicago, and also Detroit. I might just do a total parlay and see what goes on.
I have 2 parlays that are laid out already. I have an Eagles bet tonight. Within those parlays, I have the Dolphins, the Vikings, and the Chargers, which we'll talk about next. I have the Chargers and the Dolphins in another one, and those are like the 1:00 slates. So the Dolphins, the Vikings, and the Chargers are my 3 favorite 1:00 bets. But again, the Dolphins, I'm a little hesitant, even though they're there, because if the weather's really bad, then I think the Bears have a shot there. The Vikings I absolutely love, and the Chargers, which again we'll get to in a minute. It seems like the public loves the Chargers, and the sharps all like the Falcons, and I'm very confused by that. But Another story for another day.
They love them some ATL. All right, let's get to that one. Chargers, 3-point favorites there at Atlanta. Total at 49.5. It's the best price you're going to get anywhere. And yeah. All right. So everybody loves the over in this one. 90% of bets, 98% of money heading that way on the over. However, spread's a little bit of a different story. You've seen about 50-50 of the bets in right there, deadlocked, and then 73% of the money on the Chargers. So looked into the numbers a little bit on this one. Chargers 9-4 against the spread in their last 13 on the road, 12-3 against the spread in their last 15 after a double-digit home loss. However, you got Atlanta, who is the best ATS team in the league, 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 as an underdog. So I do like that aspect there. This is one I'm not going to take. I know that the Falcons are one of the peskiest teams out here in the NFL, but I mean, listen, it makes sense why that money's going on the Chargers.
But tell me why. That's what I don't get. I think that Vegas just had the Chargers has had the Falcons mispriced a bit. And now we know what they are. Like they should have lost. Here's my question. What is the spread in this game if the Falcons lost to the Panthers last week, which they should have?
I don't think too much different.
But it would be different. That's what I'm saying. The Falcons did not deserve to win that game. They should have lost 3 times.
The preseason line on this one was Chargers 7.5. Obviously, injuries have derailed.
Injuries. Keenan Allen is not playing, so who's Justin Herbert throwing the ball to? No Mike Williams, no Keenan Allen, which means Gerald Everett is going to have a huge game. Herbert loves him. Josh Palmer's questionable too, but I think he's going to play.
Yo, talking about teams that you and I could play for. Yo.
And Eckler just popped up on the injury report too.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Look, I think that's what this is. If the Chargers have a roster that can win a Super Bowl, which version of the Chargers do we see on Sunday? That's all that this comes down to. It has nothing to do with the Falcons. Which version of the Chargers show up? If the good version shows up, they win the game. If some other version shows up, then the Falcons, can win outright.
All right. Let's get to the 4:00 slate on Sunday. Seattle Seahawks at the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals 1.5-point favorites at home with a total of 49.5 on this one. And also, Cardinals favored by 2 now. Lines have been changing here. Interesting to note on the market here. Paul, I know you like the Seahawks. We talked about it
for the
show. Getting a lot of people, everybody's on the Seahawks right here. 80% of bets, 90% of money. Usually don't like it that way. And also, too, we talked about this. Seattle, the last time we did the show, or maybe we talked about, I don't know, whatever. I'm getting my weeks mixed up. However,
I know what you're going to say. You're right.
Seattle's defense is just not the same on the road as it is at home. So I think that this could be a good opportunity for Kyler Murray and the boys to kind of get in there. Even on the money line, you're seeing a lot of money go towards Seattle in this one. So kind of intriguing with all that movement. These two teams just played. Well, they will have played each other twice in a span of 21 days. Seattle got the best of Arizona in that one. It was a 19-9 game, I believe.
Yep.
Not a good performance there from Kyler Murray and the boys. But we'll see if things can change for the Cardinals back home. I'm not taking this game, but what's it?
One thing has changed since the last time they played, and that is DeAndre Hopkins.
Yes.
I mean, I am anti-Cardinals. I've been anti-Cardinals. I remain anti-Cardinals, which is why I like the Seahawks money line. But this game could change overall how I feel about them. But if I'm right and the Seahawks win, great. If I'm wrong, then kudos to Kyler Murray at being so good that you make such a difference that you keep your coach. Cliff Kingsbury should not have his job anymore. I don't wish anyone to lose their job, but Kyler Murray has kept that guy as the head coach of the Cardinals because he's so great.
A couple people should lose their jobs.
Football guys?
A couple people will lose their jobs. No, definitely not. Those guys all deserve it. They put in the hard work. You know who I'm talking about, people. Other 4 o'clock game.
Wait, you also called it a slate. Why is the NFL only putting 2 games at 4 o'clock? I hate when they do.
Good question.
They did a 9 and 2.
If the Phillies and the Astros don't settle it out in 6 games, we got a Sunday game 7. I love those. I love those.
Maybe that's why, because the original way the World Series was scheduled, no. It's only on Sunday because the game got canceled. It was supposed to end Saturday night. So then I do not understand this NFL schedule makers. But anyway, I love the Bucs. I love the Bucs.
Woo! Let's go Tampa, baby.
I think that they're better than they're still going to win the.
They better.
They're still going to win the NFC South. My mind was confused if they were in the AFC or in the NFC. That's why I paused for a second. They're still going to win the NFC South. This is the game this is like a swing game because the Rams don't know their identity. We also have to see if Cooper Kupp does not play, the Bucs are going to be favored by like 8 instead of 3. That's how important he is.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely love the Bucs in this one. Also, don't forget Tampa Bay on a 3-game losing streak, and they had 3 extra days of prep because they played on Thursday last week. Brady, I think that divorce, we're finally getting the details all worked out and all this and that. Let's go play some football. Let's win a football game. Rams have absolutely – I think Rams got the last 3 games against the Bucs. It's time to turn the tide here. Going Tampa, baby. Don't give Brady extra time. What are you, crazy?
I mean, it hasn't mattered, but we'll see. I think that he might finally care again, but we'll see.
He's a second half quarterback. All right, let's go to the primetime schedule. One on Sunday, one on Monday, of course. Tennessee Titans at the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs, 12.5-point favorites in this one with the total sitting at 46.5. Paul, I love the Chiefs. This is probably my favorite play of the week. I hate the Titans so much. You're telling me we got a pair of 5-2 teams and the spread is 12.5. Everything's going up for the Chiefs too. Well, the line did start out there, but in terms of the money line, I mean, KC was 550 at one point this week. Now they're up to 600. Tennessee all the way up to plus 500 on the money line. I just think that this is a big mismatch. Titans secondary, not good. Patrick Mahomes, pretty good. So should carve him up nice. And I think, Tannehill, I believe he got a little bit of practice in today. If not, very limited. But that could spell a lot of trouble, too, for the rookie Malik Hooker. If he's got to go
Malik
into
Willis.
Malik Willis. I think, oh, my God, I hope I didn't put Malik Hooker in something I wrote. So I hope they caught
You got to go find it.
My God.
Know that if your mind is on that you might have said that.
Probably.
But, okay.
But, yeah, so that's going to spell a lot of trouble for the rookie. If he's on.
So, is 12.5 a Tannehill number or is it a Willis number? I can't figure that out.
That's a Willis number.
I think Tannehill is going to play, and that means that Vegas thought he was going to play, and they think that the discrepancy between these two teams is 12.5 points, which is amazing to me.
Sure.
But, I mean, the Chiefs are just so good. Also, Kadarius Toney, for New York Giant great Kadarius Toney, will make his debut this week.
Better not be cutting into my Kelsey and Hardman production, you prick. Production.
He will cut into Hardman big time. Kadarius Toney's really good. So I own him in the one expert league I'm in.
All right, why don't you ease him into the offense?
Listen,
let him get into it next year.
Listen.
Listen.
So when he got traded, I was so happy. I'm like, oh my God, we've just been holding on to him all season. I can't wait. He's on the Chiefs now. My partner, exact opposite. He was like, can we drop him now that he's on the Chiefs? I'm like, are you crazy? Like he just got so much better. The way he plays and you have essentially the best off schedule quarterback of all time throwing him the ball. I think Kadarius Toney is going to go nuts. I'm going to play his receiving yards over, and if I can find his anytime touchdown, because this is like how Andy Reid works. You get the guy. You make plays for him, and you make sure that you put them in. So I love Kadarius Toney props this week. Is all I'm saying.
Everybody feel good. Yeah. Don't cut into Hardman's production. I will I will hurt people. All right. That is not a call to violence. Monday night football. It's the Baltimore Ravens. It's the New Orleans Saints. Ravens 2.5-point favorites in this one with the total about 47.5. Money line, not that high there for the Ravens, minus 135. Saints plus 125, right around there. I saw this note. I wrote about it today with something for Caesars, but Ravens 2-5 against the spread in their last 7 Monday night games. And the Saints have not covered their last 4 on Monday Night Football. So interesting to note here. The one difference, I think, though, this probably is a good spot to take the Saints. Lamar Jackson has not done good against the blitz here over the last few weeks. He's just absolutely been getting decimated by it. And, New Orleans is going to bring a lot of pressure on him. So certainly worry about that. Don't forget, you mentioned beginning of the show, Rashad Bateman. He's out, see you for the year. And it's for the year, right?
Yeah, that's what they said.
That's a tough one. I know.
I have a future that just died on him. I took him over 4.5 touchdowns on the season. So there goes that, but I won't have to pay him. I won't have to pay it out for a good 2 months.
Yeah. You hate to see it, folks. Also, Mark Andrews got banged up a little bit.
So Mark Andrews is questionable, but we also just found our second take aside because I love the Ravens with or without Andrews.
Okay. Yeah, what's his name?
What's whose name?
Likely?
Isaiah Likely.
Had a big game last week.
Isaiah Likely is likely to have a good game.
Did you know that at Caesars last week, nobody took more bets for a 2-touchdown game than Likely, which was strange. And it was like a lot, like 80% of the money about.
That's completely illogical, but I likely love it.
Yeah, you're good. You know what I think it is? We're actually Anthony Servino, who could not join us this evening. He mentioned it. You got a lot of guys who are really good at hitting these just like wackadoo props. And I think that was probably a play where like Measy or one of those guys probably had it on their Discord channel or whatever. And everybody, word of mouth.
Well, you also saw the guy who ended up at like the Bengals Browns game where he needed the mixing over to make like $7 into like 180 grand.
Nah.
So I don't want to get the story wrong. He had like a 21 leg parlay where he risked $7. It got to the last leg, so he traveled to the Browns Bengals game. He needed the over 68 on mixing yards. He also hedged it on an under for 40 grand because he could. Right. He ended up losing, but he won 40 grand instead of do something.
Sick. Nice. See? Got
nuts. And it's like I can't even hit a 3-team parlay. What's going on here? And I'm Pauly Parlays. It's like they're avoiding me.
I had a nice one last year with Damian Harris. Props to Jason Mizrahi. He was the one that did it. But Damian Harris first touchdown, anytime touchdown, and then I forgot there was like another one on there.
So that's something I don't get because I'm not on the sports books like you are. How can you do first time and anytime and parlay those together when they're the same?
No. Well, it's first time or first touchdown and anytime.
They're hoping that he gets the anytime, doesn't get the first, and then you lose anyway. Got it.
Exactly. All right. We got to cut the show short this evening.
This is not short. This is what it should be every time, and I love it.
Yeah. It's
World Philly. Go you. Have the best time ever, but you're going to lose. Take a side this week.
We'll see. All right. For me, Pauly, rest of the internet, we gone. Follow us on Twitter at those things over there. Peace.